Hi everybody, we're going to be trying to help you figure out what a flipped classroom really is. Me and the other freshman algebra teachers are going to be leading you through this. What it is, the main thing about the flipped classroom you have to understand is all the lectures where you used to stand up in front of the room and just teach, that's now a video lecture and it's sent home as homework. And then everything that you used to send home as homework is now done in class. Now, why is the other question you might come up with most often. So I want you to do this. Ask yourself, when do your students need you most? When you're up there standing in front of the room lecturing for 30, 35, 40 minutes, or when they're actually trying to apply what they learned from you? Okay, so the students need you when they're applying the learning. They can take notes, they can watch the videos and understand what you said, and then they need you to help them figure out what that means really. Okay, so now if you usually do a discussion with your lecture, you might be able to do a flipped classroom and just send home maybe some definitions, or that the little ticky-tacky stuff that makes your lectures a little bit longer. Another great aspect of the flipped classroom is that you have a lot more time in class. I mean, you have the full 51 minutes to really apply the learning. So you can do projects, you can do more different learning activities that we'll talk about here in a little bit. Another great aspect of it is differentiation. You can send different videos home with different people if you want. You can send one video home and then just work with individual students that you know are struggling. You can pull up small groups. You can group them accordingly. There's just so many different aspects of differentiation that you now have a lot more time for. Another thing is, if students are struggling, they can rewatch that video as many times as they need, while the ones who don't need to sit through a 45-minute lecture, they get it right away. They only have to watch it once. So that is a flipped classroom in a nutshell. Hopefully you like what we're doing today.
This is flipped classroom activities. Today I'm talking to you guys about a few examples that we like to use in our flipped classrooms that you guys can possibly use as well. One of the first ones we like to use is an around the room. An around the room is simply where you take questions and create them on PowerPoint. You do one question per slide, print out all your slides, and tape the questions up on the wall around the room. This is really great because this gets students up and moving out of their seat. The students simply take a piece of paper with them, record their answers, or you can go ahead like a guided answer sheet for them. And once they finish all the questions, you can have an answer key ready for them so they can check their own work. Another one we like to do is level challenges. This is a really great review activity. What you do is you create questions based on your difficulty level. You're going to use 2 to 4 questions per level and have as many as you may need. Students have to complete the first level to move on to the next one. So it forces students to do the lower level questions before they can move on to the more challenging ones. We also have a word jumble. This is kind of like a puzzle. It's very similar to the around the room with a few minor differences. So you pick a word or a phrase that has enough letters for the amount of questions that you're doing. You put one letter from that phrase on each of your questions. You're also going to put answers with your questions. Now the answers don't go with the question that it's with. It goes to a different question, because what the students are going to do is they're going to pick a place to start, look at that question, and then have to find the answer somewhere else around the room. They're going to record the letter that was on the slide that they found, and they're going to answer the new question that they're at. And they're going to continue in this manner until they go through all of the questions and end up basically back where they started. And then they're going to have to unscramble all the letters at the end. So it's kind of like a fun puzzle on top of it. Last example I have is a beach ball toss. This one's really fun because it's a fun game. Kids like to throw the ball back and forth. What you do is you create a list of questions based on different categories, and you can have up to 4 categories or however many colors you happen to have with your beach ball. Just color code each category for your beach ball, print and cut out your questions, fold them, put them into some containers that you have labeled, keeping of course all your categories separate. Then what you do is you just have students toss the ball back and forth to one another, and they have to answer a question based on the color where their right thumb lands, and you just draw them randomly out of your containers. Activities for flipped classrooms can be fun and creative, and there are so many possibilities that the sky is the limit, so have fun with this.
Here are some of the pros and cons we've come across in our flipped classroom. Okay. Some of the pros for teaching is there's more one-on-one time between the student and the teacher. There's more time in class to work on the concepts. They can learn through activities because there's more times, there's more activities that we can do. more time for performance-based learning, differentiation. A lot of the activities are differentiated, and we get to collaborate with other teachers. Some of the pros for the students is they take ownership in their learning. They learn to use resources. If we're helping a student they have a question, they might open their book or ask another student. They also become very good at asking questions. They can discuss concepts with other students. If they're absent, they can always watch the videos. And they can stop, rewind, and watch videos as many times as needed. Some of the cons are the internet access. If they don't have internet access at home, we usually write passes in GPS, but sometimes getting them up here 3 times a week is a little difficult. But I will say we have not had any student not have access to the internet or have found a way to watch every video. Not coming to class prepared, okay, and that can get a little frustrating for the student. And the motivation of individual students. With group work, sometimes it's difficult to gauge their motivation level. And that's it for our flipped classroom, our pros and cons.
Hey everybody, another question that we get about the flipped classroom is, what do you do with students who don't watch the videos or just can't remember to watch the videos? Well, we like to do a few different things. Number one, we use a website called Remind 101. This is a website that allows you to send a text message from your computer to the student just saying, hey, you have a video that you need to watch for tomorrow. Since we started doing this, it's worked out really well, and the students that have the excuse of, hey, I just can't remember, are really cut back. We also started assigning guided study to students at least once a week if they have any missing videos, and this just allows them to get caught up. So you're still going to have the students that don't watch videos, even with guided study and even with the Remind 101 website, but these students are becoming more aware that there is not going to be lecture time, and so they're becoming more independent with their own learning how to use their book better, and they're also learning how to use other students as resources. It's really cool to see because a classroom almost becomes full of teachers instead of students, and you see everyone helping each other out. It's pretty cool to see. You also have to keep in mind that you will have students that still struggle even though they do watch the videos, and this classroom full of teachers allows even those students to get help too. So we hope that this helped you answer a few of your questions about the flipped classroom, and we hope that you're excited to try something new.